Let's chat about how your self-concept is impacting your ability to make a quantum leap. If you feel like there is a mismatch between your internal world and what you are manifesting in your external world, this video is for you. If you feel like you are capable of so much more than what you are seeing in your reality, or if you feel like you are wearing a mask, like you are presenting yourself as one person to the people around you, but you feel like a completely different person on the inside, your self-concept may be what is preventing you from manifesting the life that you desire. So let's dive right in. What is self-concept? Self-concept is the answer to the question, who am I? It's a comprehensive evaluation of ourselves. How much we value ourselves, how we view ourselves, how we think and feel about ourselves. And our self-concept is learned. It's influenced by biological and environmental factors and also heavily influenced by our social interactions. And there's a lot of different dimensions to self-concept. So depending on where you are getting your information from about self-concept, you will see many different things that make up self-concept. But for the sake of this video, to make things more straightforward, I'm just going to touch on three main parts of self-concept. So the first piece being our self-identity. It's our personal and subjective view of ourself. It includes our qualities, but also our potential. The second piece is our self-esteem. So our personal judgment of our self-worth. And often this includes a bit of comparison, us comparing ourselves to the people around us. And the third is our self-image. This is how we perceive ourselves and has to do with how we present ourselves to our external world. So I view this as the way we view ourselves when it comes to how we show up in relation to other people and what we're doing and what we're putting out into the world. So to achieve self-actualization, we need a balance between these three: our self-image, our self-esteem, and our self-identity. If there is a mismatch between any of them, it is hard to create what we want in the world. It's hard to live up to our potential. It's hard to make a quantum leap. If there is a mismatch between our self-identity and our self-image, that's going to negatively impact our self-esteem. For example, if my self-identity is someone who works hard and is successful, and I know that my potential includes running a successful business, but my current self-image is that of someone who is burnt out, who is tired, who is struggling to take action, that is going to negatively impact my self-esteem. It's going to make it hard to view myself as someone who is capable of achieving what I desire and running that successful business. And this is what I really want to highlight when it comes to quantum leaping, or what prevents us from making a quantum leap. I think a lot of us have this identity gap where we know we are capable of so much more. We know we are destined to be successful. We know we can achieve what we desire, but we're not seeing that in our external reality. Maybe we are really struggling to put in the work and show up consistently to do what we need to do. Maybe, we are wearing that mask where we feel like we're presenting ourselves as a successful person who is confident to the people around us, but inside we feel unsure of ourselves. We doubt our capabilities. And that block, that mismatch, that identity gap is keeping us from achieving our dreams. It's keeping us from making that quantum leap. And this identity gap is caused by low self-worth. It is caused by subconscious beliefs that are blocking us from going after what we want. It is caused by repressed emotions from the past that we have not processed. So I want to cover briefly how our self-concept is formed. Our upbringing and our developmental process play a big role in this. So, in our developmental stages, we have the first stage, which is early childhood. And between the ages of 0 and 2, we need loving relationships, loving, secure relationships to help us form our sense of me. And when we get to about age 2, when we start to kind of explore the terrible twos, we need firm but loving boundaries. Between 3 and 4, we start to see ourselves as we start to become a little more independent, more curious. And between ages 5 and 6, we start to be more aware of the people around us, the group that we're in, and we also start to express our needs, our wants, our desires more. So far, as you can see, we need a caregiver or multiple caregivers who are capable of showing us love, who were capable of taking care of our basic needs so that we felt safe, but also capable of handling our emotions and letting us, explore. And then in the next phase, in middle school age, we really start to compare ourselves to others and worry about fitting in. And then in the third stage, when we get to about like high school age, we are, still concerned about fitting in, but we start to explore more like our own unique identity. And what is really important for our self-worth and our self-identity is having success in the areas that are important to us, and then also feeling supported by the people who are important to us. So again, we need caregivers who are supporting us in achieving our goals and are capable of showing us love and support and accepting us for who we are despite what we achieve. Our subconscious beliefs are primarily formed during our developmental stages as well. So our subconscious beliefs are primarily formed between the ages of 0 and 8, but they're also formed when we experience significant life events or repeated situations over and over. And obviously, our developmental stages are significant, and we're probably experiencing a lot of repeat patterns in that time period. And our subconscious beliefs impact our self-concepts. Our subconscious beliefs impact the way we think and feel. And depending on our caregivers and what they thought, what they believed, what they were saying to us, how they were reacting to our wants and our needs, how they reacted to our emotions, that strongly impacts our subconscious beliefs about ourselves, about what we are capable of doing, what we are worthy of having. So this is a really important time period for the formation of our self-concept. The other important thing to note about our developmental stages is that in order to go through the developmental stages, we need to have nervous system capacity. We need to have a healthy nervous system. And nervous system capacity is based upon having secure attachment, having support as we go through these stages, and having healthy input from the world around us for our body to essentially grow and develop, like having a healthy bedtime, eating healthy, nutritious food. We need nervous system capacity to grow, to explore, to try new things, to develop new relationships. So if we don't have, again, caretakers who are helping us build this healthy nervous system, helping us build nervous system capacity, we may struggle to go through the developmental stages. And this is where we can get stuck in a way in one of the developmental stages and need to do that inner child work for that age range or that developmental stage. So this is why nervous system regulation and support is a crucial piece of my quantum leaping process, and why you should be prioritizing it if you are trying to make a quantum leap. Which brings me to the next phase of this video, quantum leaping. When we are making a quantum leap, we are embodying the version of us that has what we want, that is living in the reality we want. We are embodying that version through our thoughts, our feelings, and taking aligned action. So it's really hard to embody that version of us if we have a low self-worth, if we do not believe that we are capable of achieving what we desire, if we don't view ourselves as someone who has what we want. This is why we need to take an inventory of our self-concept and work on our self-concept so that we can view ourselves as this person who has what we desire. You need to believe, truly believe, that you are that person, that it is possible for you to have what you desire. You need to think it, you need to feel it, you need to believe it. If you find yourself constantly blaming yourself when things don't work out, if you find yourself putting yourself down, a lot of negative self-talk, if you find yourself using shame to motivate yourself to get things done, I guarantee you need to work on improving your self-concept. So let's talk about doing the work when it comes to improving our self-concepts in order to make a quantum leap. We first need to have an inventory of our current self-concepts, know how we feel about ourselves, what we believe we are capable of, and then get clear on who our desired self is, or who is the version of us that has what we want, what is their self-concept, and see where we need to make a change. And I go through all this in my free guide in depth. I talk about everything I've covered in more depth and walk you through this process, all about how to do the first step of my quantum leaping process, which is defining your desired reality, defining your desired self, getting really clear on your self-concept, and getting clear on what you need to do personally to rewrite the stories that are preventing you from improving your self-concept. I'm going to walk you through a shortened version in this video, but if you want the full version, grab my free guide. I will link that in the show notes below. So if you're able to, you might want to get out a pen and paper to write, or your notes app, or if you can't, write as you're listening to this or watching this. Just think about the answers as I ask the following questions. The first question is, who are you? What are the first words or phrases that come to mind when I ask that? Who are you? How do you feel about yourself? How do you view yourself? How do you talk to yourself? Are you kind, or do you beat yourself up? Do you believe you are capable of achieving your goals? And when it comes to the area of your life that you're trying to make a quantum leap, do you believe it is possible for you to make that quantum leap? Do you believe it is possible for you to have what you desire? Do you believe you are worthy of it? If you have tried to make a change in this area of your life in the past and it didn't go as planned, how did you respond? How did you act? What was your response, and how did you talk to yourself? What were the stories that you told yourself about that? These stories will give you insight into your self-concept, into what you believe about yourself and your ability to make a quantum leap in this area of your life. The answer to what story did you tell yourself is what is holding you back. And now I want you to ask yourself, how does the version of you that has what you want, how do they talk to themselves? Who are they? What words describe them? What stories do they tell? If something doesn't go the way they want it to, how do they react? The differences in your responses between your current self and your desired self is your work to do. That is where you want to look at the stories from your developmental stages, from your upbringing. You want to look at the subconscious beliefs that you hold that are preventing you from becoming that person. So like I said, all of those questions are a glimpse into what is in my free guide. In the guide, we go in depth about defining your desired reality, defining that desired self, that version that lives in that reality. We talk about forgiving, releasing the past, because for a lot of us who didn't have the support that we needed during these developmental stages, for those of us who didn't have caregivers who maybe were supportive, or we didn't develop a secure attachment, or we had caregivers who couldn't really handle our emotions, we may have a lot of anger, resentment, grief, and sadness repressed in our body. And I talked about this in my last video in my Quantum Leaping series, and I'll link that here so you can watch it. But we have to release anything that is keeping us from stepping into that desired self, becoming that version of us. And I guarantee you that the version of you that has what you want is not holding on to resentment. They are not bitter and angry towards the people who didn't support them in the way they needed. That version of you has released it and let it go. That version of you understands that forgiveness towards them serves you. I talk about forgiving yourself, your current self, your past self, and really offering gratitude to you, to me, to your current self, so that you can move forward. So, like I said, if that resonates, the link for that free guide will be in the show notes below. When we have a positive self-concept, when we have love for ourselves, when we know that we are worthy, we can easily make a quantum leap. I've said it before, and I'm sure I will say it a million times again, you cannot shame yourself into making a quantum leap. So if you feel comfortable in the comments below, I would love to know, who is your desired self? That version of you that has what you want, who are they? Thanks for watching, and make sure to check back on Friday when I release my next pep talk video.